Good morning, Trojans. It is great to have you back with us today. Wanted to start off today with just a few announcements. First, our first quarter of semester 2 ends this Friday. So be sure that you are getting your work submitted so that you can be in good standing leading into the snapshot report cards that'll be run on the 10th. We are now about 2 weeks away from hosting our parent-teacher conferences, so we look forward to seeing your families there. You know, we have talked about this the last few weeks, but coming up next week, Wednesday on the 10th, is the MPS Student Job Fair. Be sure to check with your teacher or the MPS homepage for the link to sign up for this event and make sure that you have your resume ready. If you are looking for summer employment, please check out the Student Job Fair. 11th graders, I want to thank all of you who filled out the survey for the ACT assessment. We will be testing at Bradley Tech beginning on March 23rd. Each of you will receive a letter from us that details the time and date of your test, as well as reviews all the health and safety protocols we are asking you to follow while you are in school testing. I do have a few special shout outs for this week. First and foremost, our Dean of Students, Mr. Percy Eddy, was voted into the Wisconsin Athletics Hall of Fame. You may remember him from an earlier Wednesday Wellness video. If you see him, please extend your deepest congratulations for all of his hard work and efforts throughout the years. I also wanted to take a moment to recognize two of our seniors, Miss Jonilia Davis, as well as Davidi Alapemwe. They were both recognized as winners of the Luvenia Johnson Scholarship Award. This award recognizes outstanding youth in the community,
honoring the academic achievements of local high school students who are receiving the Luvenia Johnson Scholarship. Today, we recognize Davidi Alapemwe. Davidi was born and raised for most of his life in Tanzania. For a while after he left Tanzania, Davidi lived in a refugee camp where he could not afford to attend school. He now goes to Bradley Tech High School in Milwaukee. His advanced composition teacher says Davidi is doing everything he can to make a better life for himself. Congratulations, Davidi.
Tonight we recognize Jonilia Davis. She's applied to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology for a mechanical engineering degree. As a student at Bradley Technical High School in Milwaukee, she earned a weighted cumulative GPA of 3.9. Jonilia participated in debate, student leadership council, basketball, tennis, track and field, and more. Congratulations, Jonilia.
In addition, I would like to share that Ms. Jonilia Davis has led an initiative to increase the number of hydration stations here at Bradley Tech. And it is with great news that I get to share that by fall, we will have a hydration station available for staff and students on each one of the floors. Thank you all for all of your hard work. You know, so often we get focused on our immediate surroundings that we lose sight of what is happening worldwide. This morning, we wanted to take some time and share with you what is happening in the country of Myanmar. Not only to broaden your understanding of the civil rights violations happening from around the globe, but also to recognize the unique challenges of some of our students, classmates, and their families.
This is your art teacher, Ms. Heikes. The following video that we're going to show describes what is happening in a country called Myanmar. And the reason why I've decided to share this video with you guys is because between 2008 and 2015, I lived in Southeast Asia. My daughter was born there. We lived in Thailand and Malaysia. And I had the opportunity to work in Myanmar a couple different times with performance artists and different types of artists in Yangon and in Mandalay. In two instances, I had interactions with the Myanmar military. One involved simply me bringing a camera into the country from Thailand, and that was in 2009. I was not allowed to, I got off the airplane and then they wouldn't let me come into the country. They put me on an airplane right back to Thailand. And then the second time was a little bit more intense, and I'm not going to get into it here. But what is happening now in Myanmar is that the military has taken over the country again, and I am watching kind of helplessly as my friends are posting videos and photos on their Facebook and Instagram feeds, trying to let the world know what is happening inside their country. And there is a legitimate fear that the internet will be shut down and that they will be isolated from the world again. So anyways, the video that I'm about to show you is snippets of a movie called The Lady, which if you want to watch it, it's an amazing movie about the political leader Aung San Suu Kyi, who is currently imprisoned again. She was under house arrest for 15 years of her life, simply because her father was a leader prior to the military takeover, and she's kind of seen as a figure of democracy in Myanmar. So she is currently under arrest again, and nobody really understands exactly why. So you'll see some clips of the movie about her, and then you'll also see more of a news broadcast trying to explain what is happening in Myanmar and why.
It may be a little late to be saying this, but you realize I've never actually spoken in public before.
Well, there's no time like the present. We'll be watching from the side.
The military announcing a state of emergency.
Myanmar's 10-year journey to democracy appears to be over.
Myanmar is now run by a general after the military deposed the government led by Aung San Suu Kyi. In a bizarre fluke, part of the coup was even caught on video while a fitness instructor did her routine in front of parliament. The army's declared a state of emergency for the next year. They've arrested politicians and shut down social media.
Demonstrations are the largest since the 2007 uprising against the military.
This is the Myanmar military scrapping the democratic experiment.
Let's start by getting everyone up to speed with what's been happening in Myanmar, what used to be called Burma. Essentially, this is about a rivalry between the military and a popular pro-democracy movement led by Aung San Suu Kyi and her NLD party. People in Myanmar were put through almost 50 years of military rule. The country was basically closed off to the world, and international sanctions hurt. Violent military crackdowns, while Aung San Suu Kyi made a name for herself as the face of the opposition. She spent a total of 15 years under house arrest. Her efforts won her a Nobel Peace Prize. The first one is, why now? Well, the military says it had issues with the parliamentary elections. In November, the NLD won in another landslide, more than 80% of the vote. but the military disputed the results, saying there was fraud. So is there any proof of fraud? Well, no one's saying the vote was perfect.
For instance, in some of the conflict areas, people couldn't vote. But I think equally there can be no doubt that the election results reflected the will of the people in the vast majority of the country.
Which brings us to how the military got so powerful. It's because that power has come in handy for maintaining control. Myanmar borders India, Bangladesh, China, Laos, and Thailand. It's such a diverse country. Why is the military guaranteed 25% of the seats in parliament? Well, it's because in 2008, the military put it in the new constitution. It also kept control of defense, interior ministries, and key positions in the cabinet. But it wasn't just political control. They got into business too. The military created two huge conglomerates made up of local and foreign companies.
The military's economic holdings extends right throughout the economy.
In a sense, the military is a kind of a government within a government, or a government above a government.
Because the military has had that much influence, a lot of people saw Aung San Suu Kyi as a puppet. So this viewer asks, if that's the case, what difference does the coup make? Well, her power was limited. That's true. Suu Kyi was disqualified from being president because her children were born abroad. That was also a clause written into the 2008 Constitution. To get around that, she created the role of state counselor for herself.
The military's got a hair trigger finger, and they were ready to take over at any moment at the slightest sense that their interests were not being met.
Now Suu Kyi is back in detention. So what do the majority of people in Myanmar think about what's going on?
The people of Myanmar were given the chance to vote in a free and fair election twice. Their hero is Aung San Suu Kyi. The party they want to rule is the NLD.
And they're protesting. These are some of the biggest crowds since 2007. And they're spreading across the country. Some activists started what they call a civil disobedience movement. Honking horns, banging pans, and giving a three-finger salute. But the internet is being periodically shut down, and more people are being arrested.
This is a widening circle of not just the political figures, but writers, journalists, artists, social media people, human rights defenders.
Okay, so why go through all that trouble? Why did the military stage this coup now? Well, the thing about Myanmar's military is it's closed and secretive, so we don't know for sure. But the man who gave the order is Senior General Min Aung Hlaing. One theory is that he and others were worried about plans by the new government to bring in reforms, like changing the constitution. The NLD had tried it before. That failed because of the military's 25% hold on parliament, but it's thought to have angered the military. But there's another theory, and it's that Min Aung Hlaing was acting in his own self-interest.
The current commander-in-chief is on the verge of retirement, and this could very well be a desperate move to salvage his own political career and future. People shouldn't rush to assume that everyone in the military is necessarily happy about this.
We will have a multi-party election and we'll hand over power to the one who wins in that election.
Okay, so the following images are images taken from several of my friends' Facebook feeds. Mo Sat, who's like an internationally known performance artist, and a longtime friend of mine, Ni Lei, Mong Neo, and Aung Myat Sam, all artists either in Yangon or Mandalay, and taking photographs of the protests, as well as some of the art that's being made to support the resistance movement there.
I want to thank everyone for their time here this morning. Remember, work hard, get smart.